Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome to the fifth session of our General English course. In this lesson, we are going to learn present perfect and present perfect continuous. تو این جلسه میخوایم با هم دیگه ماضی نقلی و ماضی نقلی استمراری رو بخونیم. Let's go. Present perfect simple. اول میریم سراغ فرمش. چه شکلی میتونیم توی قالب بذاریم و بگیم که ما یه جمله present perfect داریم میسازیم. برای حالت مثبتش for positive sentence we use have and has or better to say have or has plus past participle. We have subject like I, you, she, he, it, we, you, they. We have or has and past participle. For she, he, it we use has and for the rest of that we use have. برای she و he و it has استفاده میکنیم. برای بقیهش have. So, and we have past participle. Past participle means قسمت سوم فعل. For example, we can say have, had, had. Had is the past participle. Go, went, gone. Gone is past participle. Study, studied, studied. Studied is past participle. For those of verbs that we add ed to them for the past form, we add ed for the past participle too. اونا که با قاعدن ما ed بهشون میدیم، سومیش هم ed میگیره. Okay? So, پس برای she و he و it has استفاده میکنیم در حالت مثبت. For example, she has started the assignment. که اینجا has و یا apostrophe s میذاریم. This is the abbreviation of has. Apostrophe and s. So, we say she's started the assignment. Number 2 is a negative form. We add not to have or has. For example, I haven't gone to New York. She hasn't gone to New York. I haven't started the assignment. I haven't gone there. I haven't been there. She hasn't eaten that. So for question form, we add have or has at the beginning, or better to say we bring have or has at the beginning of a sentence. میایم اول جمله. Then we have subject and then we have past participle. For example, have you started the assignment? Have you been to New York? Have you gone to New York? Have you started your class? And things alike. پس مثبت، منفی و سوالش رو یاد گرفتیم. فرمش چه شکلیه؟ حالا کجا این استفاده کنیم؟ مثلا ما ماضی نقلی رو به درد کجا میخواد استفادهش کنیم؟ ماضی نقلی یا present perfect simple یعنی ساده به دو دسته تقسیم میشه. یعنی یکی simple داریم، یه دونه continuous داریم. زمانی که to talk about a time period that is not finished. زمانی که تایممون تموم نشده هنوز. For example, today, this week, this year. هنوز تموم نشده. هنوز امسال. I've written a rough plan this morning. This morning and it is still morning. I've written a rough plan. In Farsi we say من یه برنامه جنرال کلی نوشته ام. هنوزم نوشتم امروز صبح یا این صبح که میشه هنوز it is morning. یعنی من یه برنامه کلی صبح نوشتم. امروز صبح نوشتم. For example, I've written a rough plan. زمانی که ما از ماضی نقلی استفاده میکنیم زمان دقیق رو نمیگیم. Yes, this morning معلومه ساعت 11 10 9 so we don't know the exact time. We just know that this is morning. So is it 10 11 o'clock or for example 9 o'clock in the morning? We don't know exactly. This morning, and it is still morning when the time is not finished. Because if it finished, it is related to past, so we use simple past. Like I wrote a rough plan yesterday. Yesterday, or for example, last Monday. So it is finished. But when the time period is not finished, هنوز تموم نشده, we use present perfect. خب هر وقت خواستیم present perfect بسازی از خودت برس تموم شده تایم یا نه. اگه تموم نشده و هنوزم تو هفته ای مثلا I've written a rough plan this week. I've exercised this week. پس در اینجا میتونی از present perfect استفاده کنیم. Okay, کاربرد دوم. The second one, to show that something happened at some point in the past before now. We don't state when it happened. So the exact time is not mentioned to show that something happened at some point in the past before now, but we don't know when exactly. But simple past, remember when we talked about simple past, we know the exact time. This is the difference between present perfect simple and past simple. For past simple, we know the exact time, but for present perfect simple, we don't know the exact time. We know that something happened in the past, but we don't know the exact time. For example, I've collected plenty of information at some point before now, and or for example, I've eaten sushi when we don't know. You know that something happened at some point in the past before now, but you don't know. I've eaten sushi when exactly. So the following time expression are often used. So because we cannot use exact time، چون نمیتونیم زمان دقیقش رو بگیم، میگه دستاویزایی به ما بده که ما حداقل هول و هوش تایمش رو بفهمیم. So we need some words like ever, never, before, up to now, still, and so far in order to know approximate time. Yes, because we cannot know the exact time, so we can guess the time approximately. حدودش رو پیدا کنیم. It's the longest I've ever had to write. It's the longest essay, for example, I've ever had to write. So ever, like have you ever eaten sushi, means up to now. تا الان sushi خوردی یا نه؟ I've never started any classes. I've never started any Spanish classes, any yoga classes. I've never. دومی never. Where should we use never? Between have and the main verb. I've never. It is a positive sentence. We bring never here. I've never. I have eaten. I have never eaten. So we don't use haven't. نمیگیم haven't. وقتی never رو بردیم خودش منفی میکنه. Before or before now. It means before now. For example, I've been to New York before. Do you know exact time? No. When I say I've never eaten sushi, do you know the exact time? No. You know, up to now, it is not happening. Yes, it didn't happen. Sorry. Have you ever eaten sushi? If I say yes or no, you don't know the exact time. Up to now. Up to now, it's like before. For example, I've read 5 books up to now. Do you know the exact time? No. I've still loved him. I've loved him. I have still loved him. Yes, it's better. Means هنوزم دوستش دارم. Do you know the exact time? No. So far it's like recently. For example, we can say I've read 6 books so far. So far means up to now. So all of them mostly means before, up to now, so far. But never is for negating something، منفی کردنه. So از این میتونیم استفاده کنیم. We can use them for present perfect simple. If we state when something happened, we must use simple past. حواستون باشه زمانی که بخوایم زمان دقیق بگیم باید از simple past استفاده کنیم. For example, I wasted a lot of time last week. اگر بگه I have wasted a lot of time last week غلطه. It's not correct because we have to say I've wasted a lot of time so far, up to now, before. Yes, that's it. So this is one of the most important difference between present perfect simple and past simple. So let's go to the next use to talk about the present situation which is started in the past, usually with for and since. As you know, as I have said, we cannot use exact time for present perfect. We can use so far, ever, never, and blah blah blah. We want to add 2 things in order to know the approximate time for present perfect. One is for, when we want to refer to duration, and the other one is since, when we want to refer to the start of a period. For example, look at 2 weeks. I've worked really hard for the last 2 weeks. For the last 2 weeks means it is started in the last nearly last 2 weeks up to now. When it is exactly started, you don't know, but you know the duration of time. Or I work really hard here since 1992, the start of the time. Yes, but you don't know the exact time. In 1992, in July or March or February or Wednesday in February, you don't know exactly. So when we use for duration and since for the start of a period, we do not really know the exact time. We use them to know the approximate time. تایم تقریبی رو. Okay. حواستون باشه بچه، یه نکته خیلی مهم اینجا هست. This is one important point here. For last or the last 2 weeks درسته. It's correct. But if you say for last 2 weeks ago, it's not correct. ago رو اینجا استفاده نمی کنیم. فقط last رو میتونیم بیاریم. یا حتی واسه since هم همینه. ago رو نمیتونیم با since و for بیاریم. We cannot use ago for since and for example, for 2 weeks ago, wrong. Since 2 weeks ago, wrong. You can say since last 2 weeks ago, right. For the last 2 weeks, right. So we use for with the length of time, for 2 hours, for 3 days, for 6 months. Since with a point in time, like since 2001, since Monday. Since Monday, I have studied English. Since 10 o'clock, I've studied English. Since I was 4, it's correct. Since I was 4, I studied English. Since I started the course, I've changed a lot. I've changed my course, my behavior a lot since I started this course. Next one, to talk about something that happened at an unstated time in the past but is connected to present. For example, I've read all the books on the reading list. I have the notes down. So for example, when you did something in the past, the result continues up to now. For example, I have bought this book. I have bought this book. Look at this. This is the result of my shopping. I've bought this book. Yes, this is the result. So you can use present perfect without any exact time. Or even, for example, I can show you I have done, yes, I have done all of my, for example, homework. I've done my homework. What is the result? The result is in my notebook. I have my notes, yes. I have my notes and these are my my assignments. So I can say I've done my homework, I've done my assignments, I've done my project. So when the result continues up to now. Or for example, I received my MA certificate. I've received my MA certificate means I am no longer MA student. I've finished my MA, but I've received the certificate. The certificate is the result that continues up to now. Yes. So the following time expressions are often used: recently, just, already, yet, with negative or question. For example, as I said, we can use so far, for, since, we can use recently, we can use before, up to now, never, for present perfect. Also, we can use for other things like just, already, yet, and recently. These four with positive, negative, or question forms. حالا چجوری استفاده میکنیم؟ ببین recently یعنی اخیراً means lately. So we can use recent like I've been to Turkey recently. I've received my CELTA certificate recently. Just, already, and yet. Well, imagine that you have invited me to your birthday party and I'm calling you to ask you who has arrived and who hasn't. من به شما زنگ میزنم ببینم کیا رسیدن کیا نرسیدن. یه نفر همون آن میرسه، میگیم she has just arrived. She has just arrived means it is nearly the present time, near to present time. Or we can say it is 12 o'clock. She or he has arrived 11:30 or a quarter to 12 or 12:15 or 12:30. Yes, nearly around the 12 o'clock, okay? So we can say she has just arrived, means John has just arrived. Already means it is 12, and Kate, for example, Kate has already arrived. Kate has been there around 11, around 10, means before the exact time that we are talking. She has already arrived. But for example, Lily isn't in the party, but she will come. You can say Lily hasn't arrived yet. Lily hasn't arrived yet. پس در نتیجه just واسه زمانی که میگیم همین الان اتفاق افتاد. She has just arrived. همین الان اومد، درگاه در اومد تو. یا مثلا نیم ساعت اومده، یا نمیدونم یه رو اومده، یه ساعت اومده. یا already واسه زمانی که میگیم الان یه عالمه مدتی که این اومده. She has already arrived. She has already arrived یعنی خیلی مدتی که اینجا اومده. Or yet هنوز نرسیده. So we say she has just arrived for a person or for an action that is happening lately. Already means long time ago has happened, and yet means hasn't happened yet. That's it. For example, you call me and I was sleeping, and as my mobile phone rings, I will wake up. So when I pick up the phone, I say, I've just got up. I've just got up. Or when I want to ask you a question, say, have you written your assignments yet? Means still you have many things to do with your assignment, or you have done it. Yes, that's it. The difference between already, just, and yet are so important. The difference between just and already is so important. Okay, now what's the difference between present perfect and past simple? Present perfect links the past with the present. How? Like if the result of the past action continues up to now, we can use present perfect, like my MA certificate, that I am no longer MA student, but I have received my MA certificate and my certificate is here. Or like this book that I have bought. Yes, I have bought this book. The action happened in the past, but the result is this book that is here. But so for example, I've made quite a lot of notes. My notes are here. At some point before now, I may make more notes for the future. Okay, so links past with present because the result continues up to present. Past simple only talks about the past. So when I say I made some notes, means for the past, it is finished. Or when you say I've read newspaper, it is finished. Or when you say I've read many books yesterday, it is finished in yesterday. Because of that we use exact time. وقتی که ما past simple یا گذشته ساده رو استفاده میکنیم یعنی در گذشته تموم شده رفته، ولی پرزنت پرفکت رو استفاده میکنیم یعنی یه اتفاقی در گذشته افتاده، اثر و نتیجهش تا الان ادامه داره. مثل اینکه من کتاب رو خریدم، کتاب الان اینجاست، الان که من خرید نیستم وقتی میگم I've bought this book، ولی این نتیجهش که تو پرزنت هست. به خاطر همین میگم پرزنت پرفکت یا ماضی نقلی لینک میکنه گذشته رو به الان. Does not talk about a specific time in the past, so we don't know the exact time. زمان دقیق ما اصلا توی present perfect نمیدونیم. Have you read the leaflet at some point before now? Have you studied English at some point before now? ولی but past simple states a specific past time or time is understood. ببین زمان دقیق تو past simple معلومه یا ما دقیق میگیم. Something, for example, a listener and a speaker are talking. For example, I'm your teacher and I come to class and say, what did I do last session? When I say last session, I don't say the exact time. I say just last session because I know and you know when was last session. For example, last Friday, I don't say what did I do last Monday, last Saturday. Yes. Because listener and speaker are aware. چون ما میدونیم، هم من هم شما میدونیم که زمان دقیقش کیه. پس در نتیجه زمان دقیق رو نمیگیم چون مشخصه. در غیر این صورت حتما we have to say زمان دقیق رو باید بگیم. در غیر این صورت we have to say the exact time. So otherwise listener and speaker are aware of the exact time. بعدی uses time expression that show the time period is unfinished. time expression استفاده میکنه که بگه time period هنوز تموم نشده. I've read 6 articles this week. This week isn't finished. پس time is not finished in present perfect, but past simple time is finished last summer, last week, last month, last year. I read 5 books last week. پس زمانی که time period یا time expression قید زمان گذشته بوده و تموم شده رفته، مثلا a week ago، درنچه از past simple استفاده میکنیم. ولی اگر نه هنوز تموم نشده unfinished از present perfect. So note the preposition of the following time expression occur with the present perfect. خب بیایم پایین. Between the auxiliary and main verb میگه when and how we can use these, like already, like just, between have and past participle. I've already written the notes means finished and it is done long time ago and the result continues up to now. یعنی یه کاری در گذشته اتفاق افتاده، نتیجهش تا الان هست، و already یعنی از زمانی که من دارم حرف میزنم تایمش خیلی گذشته. ولی just یعنی همین الان اتفاق افتاده. حالا الان میتونه نیم ساعت باشه، 2 دقیقه باشه، 5 دقیقه باشه. چون الان من با الان شما فرق داره، ما میتونیم just رو استفاده کنیم و بگیم که ما با آوردن just زمان دقیق رو نمیگیم. I've just finished my essay. ممکنه just یه روز واسش باشه، یا نیم ساعت قبل باشه، یا 5 دقیقه قبل باشه. That's why وقتی already و just رو میاریم به خاطر همینه که ما بازم زمان دقیق رو nemiگیم. So when we use already and just or whatsoever, we do not know the exact time. So we know that when we use just, the time is near to the present time that we are talking, and already the time of action is far from the time we are talking. Yes? I've just finished my essay. Ever is generally used with question or negative. Have you ever been to Buenos Aires? Ever روی منفی و سوالی بیشتر میاد. Have you ever تا کنون بوده یا نه؟ یا I've never been. مثلا never هم میتونیم اینجوری منفی کنیم. So after the main verb میگه اینا رو after the main verb استفاده کن. They are like mostly time adverbs. For example, I've felt tired for weeks. I haven't flown before. So at the after the main verb. Felt is main verb. Flown is main verb. If there is an object clause, the time expression comes at the end. So what is object clause? Like every night since then. Since I started this course. They are called time expressions that they are like a clause. Because they are not sentence. جمله که نیستن بهشون میگم clause. Since I started this course. خود تو منتظر بعدیشه، منتظر بقیه معناشه. یعنی چی؟ یعنی که بهش میگن یک کلازه، یه چیزی که از جمله معنی کامل نشده است، یعنی معنیش کامل نشده. تو جمله برای چی میگیم به چیزی سنتنس؟ بخاطر اینکه جمله معنی کامل شده توش. ولی since I started this course ما منتظر بعدیشیم. خب بعدش از موقعی که این کورس رو شروع کردم، اوکی، یا هر شب از تا الان since then, every night since then، یعنی تو منتظر بعدشی. پس همینجا به اینا میگیم clause. I've gone to bed early ever since then. اینا رو آخر میاریم. We bring them at the end of the sentence. That's it. So, what is present perfect continuous? Present perfect continuous is so similar to present perfect simple. Present perfect continuous has different formula. We use have and has like before plus been, verb plus ing. First we have fa'il or subject, I, you, she, he, it, we, you, they. We have or has for she, he and it, and been plus verb plus ing. I've been studying really hard. I've been studying really hard. I've been working very hard. I've been washing the dishes so far, and things like. For negative, we add not to have or has. For example, I haven't been studying English. He hasn't been studying really hard. I've been living in New York. I haven't been living in New York. We add not to have or has. For question, we bring have or has at the beginning of a sentence, like have you been studying really hard? Has she been studying really hard? Or have you been working here so long? have as رو میاریم اول. پس برای منفیش have as رو منفی میدیم. برای سوالیش have as رو میاریم اول و حواستون باشه وقتی هوا هست داریم بعدش بینه تو حالت مثبتش، بعدش ورب علاوه ingه. به این میگن ماضی نقلی استمراری. We can use either present perfect simple or present perfect continuous to say how long a situation or activity has been going on. خب پس الان چه زمانی که میخوایم ما بگیم اشاره کنیم به how long، یعنی چقدر طول کشیده. زمانی که میخوایم بگیم یه چیزی چقدر طول کشیده از این میتونیم استفاده کنیم. حالا میگم چه جاهایی استفاده کنید یا چه جوری. بعضی موقع میتونید حتی اگر present perfect simple رو به جای present perfect continuous استفاده کنید که بگید how long در یه situation و یا فعالیتی ادامه داره اوکیه و درسته. ولی وقتی هر کدوم یه تفاوت‌های ریزی دارن، اگه اونا رو بتونید تشخیص بدید و سر جای خودش استفاده بکنید that's really great. So as I said that present perfect simple and present perfect continuous are so similar, but there are some subtle differences. If you can use each of them in the right place, that's so great. So I felt tired for weeks. I've been feeling tired since I started this course. So look at these two sentences. I felt tired for weeks. I've been feeling tired since I started this course. They are so similar. But the feeling that you get when you're reading I felt tired for weeks and I've been feeling tired since I started this course is a bit different. Which one you think the length of time? Second one. کدومش طول زمانه؟ How long رو بیشتر حس میکنی؟ من خیلی تایرد بودم since از موقعی که این کورس شروع شد. بالایی هم همینو میگه ولی توی دومی حس how long بیشتره. How long an activity. So I've worked at the restaurant since I moved here. I've been working at the restaurant for 3 years. خب بریم. So look at these two pictures. What do you see in the first picture? What do you see in the second picture? Look at the child. Look at the mom. Compare the different uses of the present perfect simple and present perfect continuous. فرقش رو اینجا دقیق میتونید ببینید. ببینید توی تصویر اول look at this picture present perfect continuous. The mom says what have you been doing? The boy's mother is interested in the activity that made him so dirty. میگه چیکار کردی که این ریخت و قیافته؟ اکتیویتی رو میخواد ببینه. Yes. So emphasizes on how long and focus on the activity itself. پس زمانی که how long برای ما مهمه و activity. I've been reading for the past 2 weeks. Focus on the activity itself. I've been writing my essays. Yes. ولی توی present perfect continuous ما نمیدونیم که whether it is completed or not. نمیدونیم که کامل شده اون قضیه یا نه توی present perfect continuous. پس so present perfect continuous emphasizes on how long an activity happens. Focuses on the activity itself. Activity, not the result of activity, not the completion of the activity. میگه what have you been doing? What have you been doing means چی کار کردی؟ or in Persian we say چه غلطی کردی که اینجوری شدی. خب what have you been doing یعنی اکتیویتی مهمه. Okay. So حالا بریم دومی present perfect simple. Let's go to the next one. Says how many times something happens. مثلا میخوام بگم من این کتاب رو 3 بار خوندم. I've read this book 3 times. I've read this book. ولی but when I say I've been busy during the week reading this book, I can say I've been reading this book for last week. For last week, or better to say for the past week. Yes. I've read this book or I've been reading this book. When the focus is on the activity, I can say I've been reading this book. When the focus is on how many times and the completion of the activity, I can say I've read this book. Focus on the result or completion of the activity. I've written my essay. The essay is finished, but we don't know when. Yes, because present perfect simple and continuous, we don't know when exactly. So what have you done? Look at the picture. What have you done? The boy's mother is interested in the result of the action. The broken window. Yes, the broken window is important. What is important? When شیشه که شکسته, when the glass is when the window is broken, what is important? Yes, what is important? The window is important. It is completed. The action is completed. Yes, so we say, what have you done? Yes, but here we say, what have you been doing? What is important? The activity is important. Yes, the activity is here important, but here the result is important. The result of the action is important. So the broken window is important. This is, but here, yes, what is important? The activity of doing, and the result is he is messy. Yes, he made a mess. The result is this. This is not the fact here. This is not the matter here. اینکه این کثیفه ریزالتشه دیگه. حالا مامان میگه چه غلطی کردی، یعنی اکتیویتی چی بوده؟ اکتیویتی چی بوده که تو این شکلی شدی؟ yes. ولی اینجا مامان ازش پرسید چرا این شیشه اینجوری شکسته؟ What have you done? Yes. یعنی اینکه what is important here, the result is important. شیشه رو شکستی can be equivalent to this. So حواستون باشه, be careful. We don't use state verbs. The verbs that we cannot add ed to them, the verbs that we cannot add ing to them. Yes, be careful. We cannot use state verbs. The verbs that we cannot add ing to them, like believe, think, agree. Yes, we cannot add ing to them in the present perfect continuous. Okay. So now I wanna make an example for you. For example, I wanna go for an interview for a job, teaching position, for example, and I want to say that I was working as a teacher and I am working as a teacher. Yes. What is important for in this occasion? The activity is important. The activity of teaching is important. For me, activity is important. For them, the interviewee, an interviewer, both of them, the teaching is important for them as an activity. Okay, so they ask me, tell me about yourself, and I will answer. For example, I've been teaching English for 10 years. Yes, why I am using present perfect continuous? Because when I say I have taught English for 10 years, and when I say I've been teaching English for 10 years, what is important for the second sentence, like present perfect continuous to a present perfect continuous, من activity رو میخوام بولد کنم واسه اونا و they are interested in activity. Okay, but when I say I've taught English for 10 years, it is still correct. It is still correct. We put emphasis on the completion of activity. We say that it is completed. Yes, the result is my CV, for example. Yes, and I am an experienced teacher. Yes, so when something happens in the past and the result continues up to now, we use present perfect simple when something happens in the past, but and the activity itself continues up to now. The activity continues mostly, so we can use present perfect continuous. Yes, that's it. So I want you to go on Telegram channel, find more exercise on the difference between present perfect simple and present perfect continuous, and answer those questions. Thank you for joining me. I recommend some videos related to grammar based on the book of Grammar for IELTS, Unit 1 and Unit 2. And this lesson was based on Unit 3 of Grammar for IELTS. You can find more exercises on my Telegram channel. Thank you for being with me. Bye-bye.